distinguished colleagues, gusto ko po ihain sa inyo ngayong araw na ito ang spaghetti. Hindi po ito yung spaghetti na ikinakain natin sa handaan o yung kantang spaghetti. Sa halip, ito pong spaghetti na ito ay matuturing kong panganib at perwisyo sa ating mga kababayan. I present to you spaghetti wires and cables. My staff went around the metro to take photos of these entangled and voluminous wires and cables. And it was very easy to find them. Alam ko, pamilyar po tayong lahat sa mga ito. Ang sakit po sa mga mata. My attention was recently called regarding these spaghetti wires when several complainants came to my program last Friday because they got into an accident due to some hanging wires along EDSA. Panoorin po natin. Mr. President,
Dito nakakable ng kawad po.
Oh, kaya may ano ka sa liig,
Opo, sir.
bandage.
Kaya po yung time na yun, sir, binitawan ko na po yung motor ko, hindi ko na po alam kung anong nangyari sa amin. Sa gitna po ng kalsada, sir. Buti lang po yung mga ibang motorcycle rider na tumulong po sa amin. Kasi kung may kasunod pong nangyari sa amin pagkatumba, baka nasagasaan na po kami noon.
Pati si ma'am.
Opo.
Ang ulo ko
Sa
sir
ma'am,
ang
kayo po.
tumama. Tapos yung ipin ko.
We already contacted Philippine Global Communications Incorporated through their customer service representative po. We inform po na mayroon pong ganong insidente nangyari and also we emailed the police report po.
Ano pong sagot nila, Corporal?
Ang sabi po nung nakausap natin na si Mika po ay na-forward na daw po nila yung police report doon po sa kanilang legal.
Kausapin ko yung chairman ng MMDA. Of course, responsable ng may-ari ng kable. Pero dapat bilang sila yung namamahala niya sa mga kalye, sa EDSA, yung MMDA dapat nakita nila na may mga nakabalanda na kable, tinawagan nila yung Philippine Global para ipaayos.
Sir, maidagdag ko lamang po. Nung gabi po na yun, 4 na sunod-sunod po yung nadisgrasya.
4?
4 po. Maliban pa po sa kanila, may mga nauna po. Opo, siya po yung isa sa mga biktima. Bali, 12 midnight po. Alas 1:30 po ng umaga. At meron pa rin pong nabasagan po ng windshield.
Mr. President, 4 incidents involving just that particular area in EDSA, and yet, kinailangan pa po nila pumunta sa aking programa para magsumbong. Ito pong mga taga-Philippine Global Communications Incorporated na nagmamay-ari ng mga kabling yan nung nilapitan po ng mga naaberya nila. Ano ang mga sinabi? Magsumiti raw ng pictures at video para ma-refer sa kanilang legal at pag-aaralan. Pagkatapos po noon, aming tinawagan ng MMDA. Ang sagot lang sa amin ng magaling na MMDA, hindi daw nila jurisdiction yung nangyari. Kawawang mga nilalang. Mga walang malay na naghanap buhay lang at namamalengke sana ay muntik pang mabawian ng buhay. At ito mga may kasalanang walang urgency at malasakit sa mga tao. Ibabato pa sa legal. At ang MMDA na sana ay ang sangay ng gobyerno na maaaring nakagawa ng paraan upang mapigilan ang mga aksidente sa pamamagitan ng pagtawag ng atensyon nitong Philippine Global Communications ay umiiwas sa kanilang responsibilidad. Dahil sa pangyayaring ito, aking pong pinatingnan ang estado ng mga kable sa ating mga kapaligiran. Mr. President, just last August 2023, dahil sa mga nag-ipon-ipon na kable sa mga poste ng kuryente sa Binondo, sa tabi mismo ng Binondo Church, 4 na posteng bumagsak dahil sa bigat. Nabagsakan po ang ilang mga sasakyan. Naputol ang kuryente at ibang telco services. Kasamang internet doon sa area na yon. Pagkatapos po, sinara ang kalye upang maayos ang mga bumagsak na poste kaya nagdulot ng traffic. Mr. President, ito po mga spaghetti wires ang nagdudulot ng napakaraming problema para sa ating bayan. Number 1, just like in the case that was brought to me, It is a risk to life and limb. It poses real danger to our citizens. Ito lang po is enough to make this matter a national concern. It could also be a cause of terrible traffic. Kapag ito pong mga kable at mga poste bumagsak, ito po ay magdudulot ng matinding traffic. Number 3, damage to property. Just like the one in Binondo, it fell on cars parked along the street. If these wires are not maintained well, it is known to cause fire as well. Number 4, damage to heritage sites. Kung magagawi po tayo sa Intramuros, madami din pong mga ganitong spaghetti wires. And if these wires damage the properties there, hindi po madaling mag-restore ng mga lugar na luma na at kung masunog halos, imposible na maibalik ito sa dati. Number 5, it is an eyesore. As mentioned earlier, tourists who visit Intramuros see how these lines hamper the beautiful sights there. Ang sakit po sa mata ng mga spaghetti wires na ito. And number 6, interrupted in electricity and telecommunications. Just like what happened in Binondo when it fell, businesses, including banks, lost their internet. What if hospitals are affected and they experience brownouts for a long period of time, especially in the middle of a surgery? Mahirap po yung ganong klaseng sitwasyon. All these possible impending danger and negative effects could be prevented if people who are responsible would just stop looking the other way and pretend that these wires do not exist. Mr. President, bakit nga ba nagkakaganito ang mga wires at kable natin? It seems that these wires are mostly from utility companies such as telecommunication, internet providers, and electricity distributors. These companies apply for permits to install these structures and attach these cables, but there seems to be nobody actively regulating them. Nobody is monitoring them, in short. Once a wire is no longer in use, they shall leave it there. And new utility providers just keep on adding and adding and adding more wires. Some would give an excuse that they cannot just remove the useless and abandoned wires because hindi naman daw sa kanila yun. So nagmumukha pong tambakan ang mga poste natin na mga kable na nagkakabulbol at wala nang pakinabang. Tapos, minsan pa po, ginagawa pa nila yung storage facility para madali silang mag-ayos. May ilang nag-iwan ng mga rolyo ng kable para kung may ayusin, nandun agad. Extra cables. Mr. President, who issues the permit for this construction and installation? We have the building officials issuing building permits. These are supposed to go to the city engineering office. But how come it is as if after submitting the requirements, these companies have a free hand already in whatever they hang in these poles? There should be a continuous monitoring so that the permits could be lifted when they are not compliant. Ito pong Philippine Global Communications Incorporated ay dapat ma-review ang kanilang permit to operate. They are not doing their job properly. And who knows, ilang pang mga kable nila ang nagdudulot sa mga perwisyo sa tao. Mr. President, in the case that happened to the complainants that approached me, there is a clear lack of accountability on the telcos and the government regulating agencies. We have to determine whose liability this is. LGU ba? DPWH? Or the telcos, all electric distribution companies? There should be more national direction regarding these concerns. There are individuals' actions in some areas. For example, in Davao, they already installed their cables underground. Matagal na po ito pinopropose ni Architect Palafox. What is stopping us from implementing this? And while this is pending, there are some LGUs like in Cebu and Valenzuela that did a clearing drive in their area of these cables. In Pasig, they have an ordinance holding telcos and electric companies liable for failure to clear these lines. Maybe we could explore these options so that these spaghetti wires could finally be resolved and no more life could be put at risk. I believe that the Committee on Public Works, under the chairmanship of Senator Bong Revilla, could ably address this. And as chairman of the Committee on Energy, I will take the cudgels against the electric distribution companies. If there are adjustments that we need to make in our laws and put the responsibility on those businesses making use of these posts and cables, I know we can work on these together. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. President.